Hey everyone, and welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're gonna take a deep dive into the fascinating story of India's tech revolution.
Yeah, it's really something.
If you're interested in understanding how this Asian giant became a global powerhouse in the tech world, well, this is the place to be.
Absolutely. It's a story that I think a lot of people in the West don't really know the full scope of.
Yeah, we're going to be drawing from this essay we found called India's Tech Revolution and Future Trends. And let me tell you, it's packed with some really interesting insights.
Some real surprises in there.
Oh yeah, you're going to be surprised to hear, did you know India now has over 100 unicorns?
It's incredible.
It's crazy. We're also going to be looking at how India is using AI in agriculture to predict crop yields.
And healthcare too.
Exactly. And get this, they have this ambitious space program.
Oh, and they're doing incredible things up there.
On a fraction of the budget of other countries.
Really puts things into perspective. It really does. Okay, so to understand this whole tech revolution thing, we kind of have to rewind a little bit, right?
Yeah, go back to the roots.
Exactly. India's tech scene, it didn't just pop up overnight.
Definitely not.
It's got these deep roots going back to the late 20th century. And cities like Bengaluru.
Oh, yeah.
Hyderabad.
Big one.
Yeah.
They were really early adopters.
They were some of the first to really embrace the potential of IT and
Business process outsourcing.
oh yeah, BPO.
Right.
Yeah, contracting specific business tasks to third-party service providers.
Often in other countries.
Often in India, taking advantage of that skilled workforce.
And the cost savings, of course.
Makes sense. So these cities, they basically became magnets for global companies looking for,
Skilled talent at a competitive price.
Exactly. It's like they were setting the stage for something way bigger.
Building the foundation.
Yeah. And then in 1991, bam, economic liberalization.
Game changer.
Totally opened the floodgates for foreign investment and unleashed this wave of entrepreneurial energy.
It was like hitting the accelerator.
And the government, too, they were really smart about it.
Oh, yeah, they played a key role.
Setting up these tech parks, nurturing these budding hubs, providing infrastructure and incentives for growth.
Strategic thinking.
Big time. But there's another crucial piece of this puzzle, right?
Definitely.
India's incredible workforce. I mean, talk about talent.
It's remarkable.
Institutions like the Indian Institutes of Technology.
The ITs.
Yeah, and the National Institutes of Technology. Producing some of the brightest minds in the world.
Top-notch education.
Oh, yeah. And let's not forget about English proficiency.
Huge advantage.
Huge. Makes communication with global clients and partners seamless.
Absolutely key in the global marketplace.
So we've got this highly skilled workforce, a supportive environment, and then the Indian government comes in and they're like, okay, let's kick things into overdrive.
Yeah, they really stepped on the gas.
In 2015, they launched this ambitious Digital India initiative.
Remember that.
Oh, yeah, it's big news.
This wasn't just about getting everyone online.
Though that was a big part of it.
For sure. It was about creating this digitally empowered society.
A knowledge-based economy.
They focused on expanding digital infrastructure, boosting internet connectivity, promoting digital literacy across the country.
Yeah, they recognized that technology wasn't just an industry. It was like a tool for social and economic transformation.
Powerful tool.
And then there's Aadhaar.
Oh, wow.
Maybe one of the most ambitious projects ever undertaken anywhere in the world.
Bold move.
The world's largest biometric ID system.
Talk about thinking big.
Right. To streamline government services and empower citizens.
Aadhaar has been instrumental in increasing transparency and efficiency in government programs.
It's also helped bring millions of people into the formal economy by giving them a verifiable identity.
A digital identity for over 1 billion people.
Mind-blowing. And it wasn't just about infrastructure and access.
Yep.
The government was also actively promoting innovation and entrepreneurship.
Absolutely.
With initiatives like Make in India and Startup India.
Encouraging homegrown businesses, attracting investment.
And they weren't messing around either.
No, just slogans.
They took concrete actions, easing business processes, providing tax incentives, offering funding opportunities.
Really clearing the path for startups.
And the results.
Well,
pretty impressive.
India now has over 100 unicorns.
You said it.
Unicorns. Privately held startup companies valued at over $1 billion.
$1 billion.
I know, right? That's like a testament to how much India's tech ecosystem has matured.
Absolutely world class.
So we've talked about the foundation, the government's role, this incredible talent pool, and this explosion of unicorns.
Quite a journey.
But what does all this mean in terms of like actual achievements? What has India actually accomplished in the tech world?
Well, that's where things get really interesting, and that's what we're going to dive into next. Awesome. Can't wait. Okay, so let's shift gears a bit and actually look at some of the really cool stuff India's tech scene has pulled off.
Yeah, the achievements.
Exactly. And we're not just talking about, big companies and fancy gadgets.
That's more than that.
This is about innovations that are actually changing lives, solving real-world problems.
Making a difference.
Exactly. So where do we even begin? There's so much.
I know, right?
Maybe we should start with those big IT giants.
The ones that became global powerhouses.
Yeah. Companies like TCS Infosys, Wipro.
Household names at this point.
They've not only put India on the map as this reliable source of IT solutions, but they've also created tons of jobs.
Millions of them.
And contributed so much to India's economic growth.
They really paved the way for a whole generation of tech entrepreneurs and professionals.
Totally. They proved that Indian talent could compete on a global scale.
Absolutely.
But it goes beyond those established players.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
There's this whole new wave of startups that are totally disrupting industries, pushing the boundaries of innovation.
And they're tackling some of India's biggest challenges head on.
Let's talk about some of these groundbreaking innovations. I'm really fascinated by fintech.
Fintech, yeah, the fusion of finance and technology.
India's gone all in on digital payments.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Platforms like Paytm have become everyday things.
Ubiquitous.
I remember when I went to India a few years ago, I was blown away by how even street vendors were using Paytm.
It's pretty amazing.
I'd never seen anything like it.
Such a contrast to a lot of Western countries where you still see mostly cash and credit cards.
Yeah, Paytm's success really shows how powerful innovation can be in driving financial inclusion.
Millions of people who are excluded from traditional banking now have access to digital wallets.
So they can save money, transfer money, even access credit.
It's a game changer for the economy, too, boosting commerce, empowering small businesses.
It's a perfect example of how technology can help bridge that gap between the haves and the have-nots.
Couldn't agree more.
And speaking of bridging gaps, let's talk about EdTech.
EdTech.
Using technology in education.
Right.
India has a massive young population, and they need quality education.
Huge demand.
Way more than traditional institutions can handle.
It's a challenge.
And that's where EdTech platforms like BYJUs come in.
BYJUs, yeah, they're doing some great things.
They're creating these engaging and interactive learning experiences that are accessible to students all over the country.
Even in remote areas.
Exactly. Places where traditional schools might not be the best.
BYJUs is a fantastic example of how technology can democratize access to education.
And they're not just copying the classroom experience online.
No, they're using AI and machine learning to personalize learning paths.
It's like having a personal tutor in your pocket.
Incredible, right?
This kind of personalized learning was unheard of just a few years ago.
It's amazing how far we've come.
But India's tech ambitions, they go way beyond Earth.
Oh, yeah, they're shooting for the stars.
The Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO,
They've been punching above their weight for a while now.
they've done incredible things in space exploration.
On a tiny budget compared to other countries.
Yeah, I know. Their Mars orbiter mission, Mangalyaan,
Oh, yeah. A prime example of Indian ingenuity.
reaching Mars on the first try with such a tight budget,
It was a huge accomplishment.
sent shockwaves through the global space community.
Put India on the map as a serious player in space exploration.
It's a story that makes people proud, inspires a whole generation of young scientists and engineers.
Shows that India can not just follow but lead in these cutting-edge fields.
Totally. But as impressive as these achievements are, they're really just the beginning.
Yeah, the tip of the iceberg.
India is also at the forefront of all these emerging technologies that could change everything.
Not just India, but the world.
These are the trends we need to understand to see where India's tech journey is headed.
Absolutely.
So what are these game-changing technologies we should be paying attention to?
Well, let's start with artificial intelligence, AI,
AI.
and its close cousin, machine learning.
I hear those terms thrown around a lot.
They're already having a big impact across different sectors. But in India, their potential is even bigger.
AI sometimes feels like science fiction, you know?
I know what you mean.
Can you give us some real-world examples of how AI is being used in India to solve actual problems?
Sure, imagine using AI to predict crop yields.
Predicting crop yields.
Yeah, helping farmers optimize their harvests and improve food security.
So AI is helping farmers.
That's right. AI-powered platforms are analyzing data from satellites, weather patterns, soil conditions.
Wow. So AI is improving the lives of farmers who are like the backbone of the Indian economy.
Exactly.
What other applications are there?
Well, another exciting area is healthcare.
Healthcare.
AI is being used to develop diagnostic tools that can detect diseases earlier and more accurately.
Potentially saving lives.
Exactly. For instance, AI algorithms can analyze medical images like X-rays and scans
Oh, wow.
to find subtle patterns that a human doctor might miss.
That's incredible. And that's especially important in India, where there's a shortage of doctors.
Yeah, especially in rural areas.
Yeah. AI could help bridge that gap by providing accurate and timely diagnoses even in remote places.
It's a game changer for healthcare, making it more accessible, affordable, and effective.
So AI is revolutionizing healthcare in India. What other transformative technologies are we looking at?
Another one that's growing super fast is the Internet of Things, IoT.
IoT, right? Connecting devices, collecting data, making things smarter and more efficient.
That's the gist of it.
I can see how that would be useful for like managing traffic in cities or automating factories.
Exactly. Those are key applications.
But how's IoT impacting everyday life in India?
Well, think about smart cities.
Smart cities.
India is urbanizing rapidly, and cities are facing huge challenges.
Like traffic congestion, pollution, resource management.
Exactly. And IoT is playing a key role in tackling these issues.
So how does that work?
For example, they're using sensors to monitor traffic flow and optimize traffic lights.
So less congestion, shorter travel times.
Yeah, that's the idea. And they're also developing smart grids to manage energy consumption more efficiently,
Reducing waste and lowering costs.
making cities smarter and more sustainable.
I love that. But what about sustainability on a larger scale? How is India addressing environmental concerns alongside all this growth?
That's where green technology comes in.
Green technology.
India is making big investments in renewable energy, especially solar power.
Oh, that's great.
They're also pushing for electric vehicles and developing energy-efficient solutions across different industries.
So it's not just about economic progress, but also about building a sustainable future.
Exactly. And this focus on sustainability is also shaping how they're approaching blockchain.
Blockchain.
India is already a leader in fintech, with platforms like UPI transforming digital payments.
I've heard about that.
But blockchain could take things even further.
I've heard so much about blockchain, but I still don't really get it.
It can be a bit hard to wrap your head around.
Can you explain it simply? Like, how does it work and why is it so revolutionary?
Imagine a digital ledger that's spread across a bunch of computers,
Okay.
making it practically impossible to tamper with.
Interesting.
That's blockchain. It allows for secure and transparent transactions without needing a central authority.
So instead of relying on banks or middlemen to process transactions, blockchain allows for peer-to-peer transactions.
Exactly. Cutting out the middleman, reducing costs.
And this is especially impactful in India, where a lot of people are still unbanked.
Right. Blockchain can give individuals and businesses access to financial services that they couldn't get before.
It's like democratizing finance, making it more accessible and affordable for everyone.
That's the potential.
And what about other uses for blockchains? I hear it can be used for like everything from supply chains to voting.
You're right. Blockchain can transform so many industries.
So how's it being used in India?
They're exploring it for things like tracking agricultural products, ensuring the authenticity of medicines, even streamlining land registration.
It sounds like blockchain is a real game changer with the potential to revolutionize how we do business and interact with each other.
It really does. And it's exciting to see India playing such a big role in this technological revolution.
It's inspiring to see the energy and creativity in India's tech scene.
They're not just following trends, they're adapting them to their own needs, creating solutions that work for India.
That's amazing. But like with any rapid technological change, there are always challenges, right?
Of course, progress isn't always smooth sailing.
What are some of the key challenges that India's tech sector is facing as it keeps evolving?
Well, one of the biggest ones is bridging the digital divide.
The digital divide.
Millions of people in rural areas still don't have reliable internet access or digital devices.
So they're missing out on the opportunities of the digital economy.
Exactly. It's like a whole segment of the population is being left behind.
What's being done to address this?
The government's working on expanding internet infrastructure and promoting digital literacy in rural communities.
It's a complex issue.
It's going to take a multi-pronged approach involving public-private partnerships, community engagement, innovative solutions.
Makes sense. What other challenges are on the horizon?
Well, cybersecurity is a growing concern with all this digital activity.
Of course, as India embraces the digital economy, data, privacy, and security becomes super important.
Cyber attacks and data breaches can be devastating.
So we need strong cybersecurity frameworks and more awareness about online safety.
Absolutely. It's not just about embracing technology, but doing it responsibly and safely.
So true. What about the workforce?
The workforce.
Are people worried about keeping up with the skills needed for all this rapid technological change?
That's a great question. Technology is changing so fast. Continuous learning and upskilling are essential.
Yeah, you got to stay ahead of the curve.
India needs to make sure its workforce has the skills to thrive in emerging fields like AI, quantum computing, biotechnology,
So more focus on STEM education, vocational training programs.
and a culture of lifelong learning.
It's clear that India's tech journey is this dynamic and complex story with amazing achievements, but also ongoing challenges.
It's a fascinating journey to follow.
What's your overall take on India's position in the global tech landscape?
I think India is a force to be reckoned with.
A force to be reckoned with.
They have this young, ambitious population government, support a thriving entrepreneurial ecosystem.
A real powerhouse.
But it's important to remember that this is still a work in progress.
We've covered a lot in this deep dive,
We have.
from the history of India's tech rise to the incredible innovations shaping its future.
It's been quite a journey.
But before we wrap up, I want to take a minute to appreciate one of the most inspiring parts of this story, ISRO's incredible achievements in space exploration. That Mars orbiter mission Mangalian, it really stands out.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Reaching Mars on the first try and on such a small budget,
It was unheard of.
it really captured the world's imagination.
Absolutely. It showed what ISRO was capable of.
Not just their technical skills, but also like their ability to achieve these huge goals without spending a ton of money.
They did it on a shoestring budget.
It's like they rewrote the rules of space exploration.
Totally proved that you don't need billions of dollars to make groundbreaking discoveries.
And that story, it resonates with people everywhere, especially in developing countries who want to achieve big things but might not have the resources.
It's inspiring.
It shows that innovation can happen even when you're working with constraints.
That's a powerful message.
And it's not just about getting to Mars, it's about what that achievement represents.
Yeah, what it symbolizes.
India's commitment to pushing the boundaries of knowledge and contributing to science globally.
That's a sign of their ambition.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into India's tech revolution, what's the big takeaway for our listeners?
The big takeaway. I think it's that India's tech journey is really a story of transformation.
Transformation.
Not just in terms of technology, but also in society and the economy.
Oh, I see.
Technology is being used as a tool to address some of India's biggest challenges.
Like poverty and inequality.
Exactly. And healthcare education.
It's about using technology to make a real difference in people's lives.
To build a better future.
It highlights the power of human ingenuity and how technology can create a more equitable and sustainable world.
That's the ultimate goal.
And it gives us a glimpse into a future where India is a global leader.
Not just in tech, but in innovation and social progress.
Exactly. So to our listeners out there, I encourage you to keep learning and keep exploring.
Stay curious.
Keep an eye on India. This is a country that's shaping its own destiny and influencing the future of technology for all of us.
It's an exciting time to be watching.
Until next time, keep diving deep.